Alright, so I've completed my mining mission, and then I went ahead and did the next mission after that, which was just to reprocess some Veldspar and turn it into Tritanium, which we then gave to our agent. Um, and he was nice enough to give us a new ship, a Bantam, which is a Caldari frigate. Um, as we can see, the prerequisites is only that we need Caldari frigate 2, which we started. In fact, we're already training 3, which is still in progress. 5 hours 47 minutes to go on that one, so we won't hold our breath. That will be a useful skill. You never want to actually go for just the bare minimum in Eve. There's always a benefit to going beyond, and generally you'll need to really use it well. In this case, the Caldari Frigate skill bonus, 5% bonus to cargo capacity and 20% bonus to mining laser yield per skill level. So we're already getting a 40% bonus, and it'll become a 60% bonus. This is actually a nice little frig for mining if that's the sort of thing you're going to do. It also gets 60% mining laser capacitor use reduction. Um, which is pretty good because a small ship like that isn't going to have a lot of capacitor. So let's go ahead and get inside. Before we get inside our new ship, we'll go ahead and strip the fitting on our existing newbie ship. And even though the Bantam is clearly meant for a single role, which is mining, this is going to be a far better combat ship than our new player ship, which is very intentionally bad at everything. So we right click on it, we assemble it. Good habit to get into, don't leave your ship's name the default. It says exactly who you are and what you're flying, and we don't want that. So we'll rename it X. Uh, at this point, it doesn't matter, but it is a good habit that you don't want people to be able to clearly see that much information about you. So after we assemble the ship and name our ship, we can go ahead and right click on it and hit make active. I don't know why I couldn't see that. And so it pops up letting us know about ship insurance. Um, Ship insurance means that if your ship gets blown up, you'll get a portion of its value back. It's very recommended if you think there's any chance of you getting blown up. You can go into the insurance menu. There. Don't know why it took me so long to remember what that one would look like. And you just click on your ship, click on insure. Um, It will last up to 12 weeks or until your ship is blown up. On the left side, we have our various costs, and then on the right side, we have how much you'll be reimbursed. It's most efficient at the top, but still, your best value if you're definitely going to get your ship blown up is in the platinum range. I'm going to go ahead and just take basic for now. We have gotten some decent money now off of our mission running. We're over 200,000 ISK, but I'm still just going to get the basic level of insurance, and that'll make all this stuff go away at least. And so it's going to go over some of the other information about our new ship. And since we stripped our fitting on our Ibis, all of our items are now in our item hanger. So we can now go into fitting and put our miner, of which we can fit 2 on this ship, um, on here. We'll go ahead and put our light electron blaster, just in case we do end up needing it. We can drop some ammo directly on it and load it from right here. Our Ibis actually is still going to have the rest of our ammo, which we can drop inside of our active ship. So now we've got ammo, we've got our mining laser. We can go over some of the other things available to us on this view. Um, it gives you some information about how much DPS you're putting out, um, our drone DPS, and our missile DPS for our total DPS. How much shield we have and we're regenerating, how much armor we have, how much structure we have, and then our resists. Resists are very important. So for instance, if somebody is doing explosive damage to our shield, 50% of that damage just goes away thanks to resists, as opposed to EM, at which point we're going to take full damage on our shield. Um, it would take 625 seconds for our shield to go from 0 to full because we don't have anything increasing it other than its default recharge. Our armor and structure, we've got nothing to repair them, so those are just the static values. Um, We've got some additional information, our warp speed, our inertial modifier and stuff to let us know how quickly we can maneuver, information about targeting, and then of course our CPU and power grid. This determines what modules we can fit. We probably have enough CPU. Um, Actually, if we offline our weapon, we'll see what that reduces our power grid to 15 out of 17. Oh, so that our blaster really was not using very much in the way of power grid or CPU. Or is that just not updating? Well, anyways, we can see uh, what we are currently using. And so it would actually be a tight fit CPU-wise. Lasers definitely use a lot of CPU. Our low slots here, there are modules available that if we had the CPU, we could put mining laser upgrades that help us mine even more per laser. Or we can also put in a coprocessor, which gets us more CPU to fit better mining lasers. I would love to buy a second mining laser if we're going to keep doing some mining missions, but the cheapest ones, when I checked the market, were about 1,000,000 ISK, so that's not going to be an option for us. Gives us our cargo hold space, our drone base space. So there's a lot of information on here. But for now, let's actually go ahead and take a look at the market. We can go into our browse. Our range filter, let's go ahead and set that to region. That means everything in our current region, which is the forge, will be visible to us. That's usually a pretty large amount of space, generally up to like 10, 15 jumps, you'd say would be a regional range. If we click on a random item, let's say some hybrid charges, we'll go to something common like medium antimatter. You can see the farthest jump away is actually 28 jumps, but you can see quickly 14, 12, 11. It can get you to most spots within the region. But we're going to look at skill books. There are a lot of skills available in EVE, and we qualify for tons and tons of the entry-level skills. These are generally going to be available, especially the lower-level ones, from things like the State War Academy, so we're actually in a pretty good spot right now. Missile launcher operation is one that's standing out to me, and they are available in the station. These aren't necessarily NPC books. If we sort by price, we can see that these books are available very commonly for 18,000 ISK. This means that we would be buying them from NPC corporations and not actual players. However, players of course want to make some money, so what they'll do is they'll buy them from the NPCs, bring them to systems like ours where they know a lot of new players are, and resell them for slightly more. Although this isn't going to be effective here because we can buy the 18,000 ISK NPC books here. So missile launcher operation is a good example of a skill I would like. There is no prerequisites for this skill, which is why there's no prerequisites tab. So we can just go ahead and buy it. And it'll list our price. Of course, we have no need for more than one, so we can choose buy. And when we go into our item hanger, we now have the option to train now to level 1, or just inject skill. Injecting skill will make the book disappear and make it available to train later, or we can just go ahead and start training it to level 1, which I'm going to do. And then it confirms that we want to switch our skill training. Rockets are going to be another one that we want, although that's going to require missile launcher. See, this one does have a prerequisite, so we have a prerequisite tab. It requires missile launcher operation level 1, which we are training now. And it even gives us, lets us know how long that would take, 7 minutes and 52 seconds. Training level 1 skills is very quick, which is why I wanted to get a lot of these started right away. And of course, we can also go into engineering. And shield operation is another one. Engineering level 1 is the only prerequisite. We've got a green check mark, so we're good to go. On shield operation, here we're going to pay a little bit of that premium. It looks like we could probably travel and get this for 31,500, or be lazy and pay an extra 300 ISK, which is nothing. And we will actually train that one now to level 1, and what that should do is bump it to the top of the queue, but still leave missile launcher operation is the next in our queue. So in 8 minutes we'll have shield operation, 7 minutes after that we'll have missile launcher operation, and then it can go back to Caldari frigate. So we're starting to get some important skills here that are going to make us much better at flying our ship, allow us to use more modules and to use those modules better. And I will go back later and purchase and inject a lot of other skills, but I don't want to bore you with all of that. I can always summarize some of that later. Great tool in EveMon that I mentioned before. That's going to really allow you to easily see what skills are available and to build a whole skill plan, see all your dependencies and how long it's going to take you to do that. We can also see in our transactions now um, the various things that we've bought, how much we've paid for them, and exactly who we bought them from. So it looks like both of these actually were bought from the State War Academy. I'm surprised this had that odd price. Um, so that's useful information to know about. And so we will go ahead and take our new ship and see what our next mining mission is going to be. So we're going to get... Oh, they're going to give us a blueprint. So we're going to get to take a look at production. This is kind of fun. I have to say I've been very impressed with these missions and really showing a wide breadth of the things available in a very short time. Um, but yeah, it's going to talk about how pretty much everything in the world of Eve is produced by players. Um, via combining the resources that are mined or otherwise gathered for some more advanced production, um, combined with blueprints and made into real items. So in this case, we've been given a blueprint for a civilian afterburner. We'll never ever produce this again after this mission because it's a useless thing to produce. Nobody's going to buy our civilian afterburners. But for learning purposes, this is pretty useful. Um, so in order to get started on our production, we can just right click on our blueprint, go into manufacturing. We can pick an installation. Um, in our case, we will go ahead and that's no fun. The only installation in our current solar system is the one that we're at right now, and there's a lot of competition for the limited number of manufacturing slots, of which there's 50. Um, we will go ahead and choose it. I'm not going to bother moving our blueprint somewhere else to try to do the production. We'll hit use assembly line. It won't actually start producing until 2 hours and 35 minutes from now, but that's fine. We'll queue it up. The input and the output will choose my hangar, so it means it's going to take all the resources it needs from my hangar and then deposit the finished product to my hangar. If we were in a player corporation, we could pull stuff from the player corporation's hangar um, and deposit it to the player corporation hangar. And it says that we need to produce, oh, it looks like it's also a blueprint copy. There's two types of blueprints, blueprint originals, which can be used an unlimited amount of times, and blueprint copies, which can only be used a limited number of times, in this case, 2 runs. So we need to use our 2-run blueprint copy, or BPC, to make 2 afterburners. So we change our runs to 2, and now it's going to tell us what resources we need. And it looks like somebody's chosen this spot while I was talking, so we'll choose that assembly line. Try and be a little quicker this time. My hangar, 2 runs, press OK. It looks like there's a lot of competition. We'll choose a couple away, a couple of spots later. And it looks like we need industry to be at a certain level, which I actually thought was only 1 in order to do our production. And I don't have industry 1, so if we look at our blueprint, it'll have a prerequisite tab like everything else, or at least I thought it would. That's right, and under the bill of materials it will list our skills that we need, which is industry level 1. So before we can even inject our job, we need to train industry level 1. Instead of going through the browsing menu in the market, if you know what you want, you can always just type it in. So we will go ahead and buy the industry skill book. As long as we're talking about blueprints, There's additional things that you can do with the original blueprint as far as researching it that allows it to improve its efficiency, either material or production efficiency. A higher material efficiency uses less minerals to produce a given item, although it's a diminishing return the more that you research it. It's still a very important thing to have. And production efficiency means it will just take less time, so that way your blueprint and your items are done sooner. Less important, but for certain large items there can be a definite value in that. Um, it requires some science skills to be able to take a blueprint original and put it into research, and you've got to find an available slot, the same as we did with production slots, except there are research slots, and those can have some very long queues and high security. You can easily expect 20, 30-day queues before research will even start, when research can take 20, 30 days for a full run. Um, but that's very important before beginning any real production, is not just buying a blueprint, but making sure that that blueprint is researched. Similar to researching a blueprint, you can make copies of it, which is what we're dealing with here, these limited runs. So some people will just take their original blueprints, instead of producing things with it, they'll produce copies of the blueprints that other people will then manufacture with. So as you can see, production can quickly get very complex, even for just these basic Tech 1 items that we're trying to produce here. So while we wait for Industry Level 1 to train so that we can start injecting that, I think it's going to be time to talk to another one of these agents. This is going to be the exploration um, agent, which isn't something I've really done a whole lot of. So we'll go ahead and accept his mission, which will get us an astrometrics skill book, which is going to be important for any future um, exploration missions. So we can go ahead and undock on our ship, our newly fitted Bantam. I'm going to follow along and see exactly what they're going to want me to do here. So they're going to have us use our onboard ship scanner, which is located down here in the GUI. And this can be used to locate various things, other players. They're going to have us select our onboard scanner and choose Analyze. This is the most basic type of scanning. There's various probes, which would require a probe launcher to find special types of exploration sites, or to locate precise locations of player ships. Um, but we can find these basic anomalies right here. And so it's going to have us go to one of these cosmic anomalies. So we'll go ahead and choose the closest one and warp to it.
Warp drive active.
And as it says, if you go around to different locations within a solar system, you can get different results. A scan doesn't have a long enough range to reach every area. Sites are based either on planet or moon locations, though, I believe, which means choosing a planet closer to the sun is generally going to get you a pretty good quick result. It's going to cover the most number of planets and moons, at least. And so normally there would be some type of hostiles and things to do at the various types of anomalies, whether it be asteroids that can be mined, ships that can be fought, gas that can be harvested. Um, as it says, there's nothing at this one. This is just something to allow us to learn from, so we'll go and get the training container, pick up the documents, and go back to station to prove we know how to use our basic ship scanner. And so we'll head back to station.
Warp drive active.
So we can also use Evelopedia, EVE Online's wiki pages to learn more. There is a browser in-game that we can use to view it. Not a whole lot of information on this one. There we go. So Cosmic
Docking
Anomalies,
permission
it's going to talk all about
requested.
the different exploration, the different types of sites.
Docking request accepted.
And we can talk to our agent and complete our mission. And of course he also wants us to instantly start training another skill which is going to be required to continue on. We'll go in our item hanger. This skill I'm only going to inject and not begin training because I do want to get industry started first so I can get that production job queued up. So we will go to our training queue. And Astrometrics is under Science. It's a 23-minute train, so actually a little longer than our Industry skill. I'm going to drag that to right between Industry and Shield Operation, and choose Apply. So we're going to continue working on Industry first, but as soon as that's done, we'll go into Astrometrics and then continue on with Shield Operation. So within half an hour, we'll have some good skills. I'm going to go ahead and stop for now, let those skills continue on. I'm actually going to change their order in case I'm not as patient as I'm hoping I'm going to be. We'll let Shield Operation. It's only got 2 minutes left. We'll let that one go first. So hopefully we'll have some more skills started up here pretty soon, and I hope to see you next video.